And
we are live from the shade at Keeler Gardens. So
literally, the sun just went behind a cloud. Everything's shade right now.
Blue sky too. So welcome to Keeler Gardens.
I just got a notification that Keeler Gardens is live right now.
So you won't miss any of these wonderful videos on a regular basis. You should follow Keeler Gardens. Like Keeler Gardens, share Keeler Gardens, ask others to follow Keeler Gardens. It's great to get these little dings, and then you know Keeler Gardens is live. Oh, yay! So, usually we are out speaking with you on our front sidewalk and our front pollinator habitat and front garden, as that right now is the most easily accessible public part of Keeler Gardens. Out there on the sidewalk.
Hey, Shelly.
Hey, Shelly. Hi. Out there on the sidewalk, anybody can walk by and enjoy the space. And in fact, right now we have some Tibetan meditation music. It's the Tibetan bowls. I don't know if anyone knows what Tibetan bowls are. It's like these wonderful sounds made from Tibetan bowls. And we have that playing, and we have a couple chairs out there. So the space is open. Just practice your physical distancing.
Sue's watching.
Hey, Sue, nice to see you. So, we start by talking about Keeler Gardens all the time, about we're here to connect you with nature. Interestingly, one
easy for
way
you to say
that we connect with nature, and here's a good example.
Oh, Dr. Cafaro's here.
Hey, hi.
She says, nice outfit.
Well, I try. Hey, Sue, do you recognize this? The hat? When we went?
Okay, let's stay focused here.
I calculated it out. It was like lots of years ago. Okay, so you can see, I don't know if you can see the break between the shade and the sun. One of the ways that we enjoy nature, that we experience nature, is when we're outside, but when we're really just sitting and enjoying a space. And oftentimes, the bright, sunny places to sit might be too hot or too bright, or you know, there's no way to get away from the sun. And so shade places are really nice. However, you also find in shade places that things tend to be very wet.
I probably need to get a little closer here.
It's sort of a mess back here, and that's another reason why shade places are a little more difficult to manage, is because without as much sun, things don't grow as fast. Things don't recover from the spring as fast and from the winter as fast. So shade spaces can be difficult for people. And we had a similar issue. We tried to grow a lot of different stuff in this area, and it was always wet and it was always muddy. It was never really put together. And then we stopped fighting that shade and fighting that dampness. We put down the stones to create a space where we could actually use the shade and enjoy the shade. And then we chose shade-loving plants. None of these get any special treatment. There's pieris back here, there's hydrangea, there's ferns, coral bells, there's some itea in the back. And we just prune away the dead stuff and we let it grow. Are you shaking your head, Ed, because nobody knows what those things are?
No, I'm shaking my head because I had bad puns that aren't getting heard.
Oh, Ed wants to make jokes, but we're not going to let him.
Yeah, you have no idea how many jokes I had.
I hope that everyone did not hear that. So my goal here to talk about the shade gardens is that what you need in a shade garden is the right plan, and you know that's for every space, but really the biggest thing you need for shade gardens is patience. As I mentioned, things don't wake up as fast, they don't grow as fast, they don't dry out as fast. So if you're really, really patient, you know, eventually finding the right plant that grows there, letting it dry out. Maybe you have to clean it a little more often, or move stuff around for it to dry. But there's lots of techniques, easy things. I don't mean for this to be complicated at all, but it's patience that matters. For example, can you get the climbing hydrangea?
Yes.
This is a climbing hydrangea, and they will grow in sun, but they do like, Ed's having some tripping problems. They do love their shade, what's called shade tolerant or shade loving. And these are all the flowers from last year, and I'm just getting ready to cut them down. And I don't know if you can see it, but the flowers are ready to come this year. There's a bunch right there. And so this will be dotted with all these white clusters of flowers that get pretty big. Now, this, I don't know if you can see how massive this guy is in here, okay? This guy took like 10 or 12 years to grow this much. So again, I reiterate, patience. But now in this shady spot that, you know, stuff is, you know, trying to wake up, we have this beautiful green wall. It did take a while, and if you have a space where you know you can dedicate some time and energy, or really any space in your garden that you're struggling with. Just take the time to practice a little. You need a plant? We'll give you one. We'll make a suggestion. I'm sure your neighbor has something that will grow. Oh, I'm getting distracted by butterflies. Yay, butterflies!
Butterflies, pollinators.
So we're here talking about being made in the shade. Now, again, this is the beginning of the season, and it's looking a little iffy. But we have a couple benefits too from this area, which is why I wanted to mention. Because it's damp often and it doesn't dry out too easily, we can grow moss in between our
Did you want me to get the moss?
I think people pretty much know what moss is, but also between the stepping stones, what happens is we get little seeds get stuck in there. And then because it stays nice and damp and relatively protected, plants grow. This is a stilbay, which came from the garden, and I don't even know how a stilbay seeds. I should, but I've never studied this stilbay seeding. But it did, and it seeded, and now I have an extra stilbay. And I'll either put that back in the garden or I'll share it. Another nice thing about shady spaces is they stay damp. You don't have to water them as much. So there are pluses to the need for patience, but you get some other things in return for that.
Michelle's watching.
Oh, hey, Michelle. Can you
I don't
see
know
your
if
house
she's
from here?
watching from the window or from the video.
So you get a wonderful place to sit. You get a place to enjoy. I can't tell. Is she in the window?
I can't see. It's too bright in the shade garden.
You get an easy space to grow in if you're patient and you've chosen some good plants. And you may even get a lot of volunteers because that space is damp and cool and a relatively good environment for growing.
And I'd like to point out that we mentioned that it's messy back here because you're actually doing the cleanup. This is
Right.
like the last
and so
section.
This is the last section that we do cleanup on because it took this long for everything to wake up. And actually, in all honesty, I probably should have gotten to it a little sooner.
Okay.
I am realizing that now because this hydrangea is full grown, so she's pretty active. But nothing's gotten stunted back here because it's been in the shade and it hasn't been really warm enough in this corner to wake things up. But as you can see, the little green patches, the hydrangeas come in, the ferns are on their way.
Can
the
I hand this
cucuras
to you while you're saying that real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you can see the hydrangeas waking up. Look at the fern, it's waking up. Can you see the detail of the waking up fern? It's unfurling, right? I don't know where Ed's camera is. We're using Ed's camera today. See, it's unfurling right there. All right. So it's actually lovely. It's a little slower, but again, in the summertime, in the hot summertime, this whole space will be full. Green, a little mixture of silvers and browns in the front. See how this heuchera is brown, and then there's a little yellow heuchera. And then we added this green pot in the back so we can have some height in the back. We'll hang something colorful from here. The hydrangeas may bloom a blue or a pink. So this whole space will be very lush. Just be patient, all right? I'm gonna end our video today on this beautiful, really substantial white bleeding heart. And you can see how big that is. And it too, see over here? See that little guy? That's its baby. It just put down a seed and made more. So shade gardens are wonderful, and you can have lots and lots of color. Don't feel that your shade garden has to be limited. You have questions on what you can grow, what you should grow, what has lots of color. We will happily
And I
answer
realize
them.
why you need so many patience in the shade.
Ed's gonna make a joke.
No, I just realized. Did you want to know why?
Ed has realized why we need so much patience in our shade garden.
Because impatience is a sun-loving flower, right?
No.
Well, then why do we need patience? We should have impatience in our garden. Shade garden.
Okay, so I'm just going to move on. We don't really put impatience in the ground anymore, and that's a whole other story.
And Sue's saving you because she said bleeding heart is her favorite from her childhood.
Oh, that's wonderful. Did you have the pink one? Because we do have the pink and the pinkish and redder ones on the property. This white one just like took off though and is just like filling the space.
Technically, this whole... Somebody laughed at my joke, by the way.
Good for you.
This whole area is really our shade garden. And we have been posting
Correct.
some. So I'm going to come over on the pink one here. Come on over and we'll wrap on up.
So the difference in the two areas is that it's a grade change. That corner, all the water falls into that corner, and so that's why that corner was a little more difficult. And of course, the water's going to, the tree's going to suck up water. All these plants suck up water. So again, we learn and we balance as we go. So once again, if you have questions about anything that can grow in the shade, that really thrives in the shade, let us know. We're happy to share. We're happy to give you more instruction. We're happy to give you ideas on what to grow and how to get height in the shade, how to get this, how to get that. That's what we're here for. We're here to find ways to help you connect with nature, even if your shade space is more just about a view. All right. So once again, another way to connect with nature is when you sit outside and you're in a comfortable spot and you're just enjoying the space, whether it's just for the view or if you're really immersed. So connect with nature here at Keeler Gardens through our videos, through our many programs for our improved health and well-being. Thank you so much. We'll go on and on some more tomorrow about some different things and different projects. Take care. Bye.